Howdy peeps, and welcome back to another episode. I think we're at 13, maybe 14, I can never remember. Especially not once I got past 2 or 3. Anyway, it's the Eduard Spitfire Mark 8 build series. Last time we'd got the... it was the upper surface camo base paints done. And today we're going to be... whether it's the correct term or not, I call it post fading or post shading, depends whether you go lighter or darker on the paint, to achieve a more varied tonality on the upper surface, just so it isn't one colour. So let's have a look, see where we are. As we can see, the plane is how we left her, with the base camo on and the masking still on as well, just to protect against overspray. Not that we're likely to get any this time. And what we're looking at doing here is, once we've mixed up the paint, is just adding some random patches of fading or bleaching. You can also come back and do darker patches, just to break things up so it's not all one tone. Now we'll start out with the grey, and I shall grab a clean nickel paint cup. I've got a few of these, not many left now, but thanks to Paul at ISM, he sent me a small bag of them. They're coming very useful. I really should clean them out more regularly and reuse them, but hey ho. So the upper surface paint was, or the grey was the medium sea grey, I believe. Was it medium sea grey underneath and ocean grey on top? Let's have a look, see. H335. 362. Well, apparently it's ocean grey, but hey, we'll use medium sea grey because I think it's slightly lighter anyway. Not that it really matters because we're going to be... yeah, it is lighter. So 3, 4, 5, 6. We just add 6 drops into there. And I'm just going to thin this down a little so that it goes through the airbrush easier and it's more translucent when we spray it on, so it's not all a big solid blob of colour. So that's 3 or 4 drops of thinner in there, which is, if I were to be actually painting using Model Air to get the main base colour down, it's be way too thin. But as we're just looking at changing the tones, try not to sound so posh, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination. We don't want solid colour. Well, you might, I don't. Will this extra light help? It may do, let's find out. So, take the airbrush out of the holder. Oh, there's air coming through it, that's always a good sign. And water comes through it as well, so just clear that water out. And for this I am going to drop the air pressure slightly. Oh, down about there. I think that's down about 10 or 12 psi. Simply because it just gives more control over what comes out at the end of the airbrush. And the thinner paint should atomise better as well. And again, because of what we're doing, we're going to be using very light trigger pulls. I'll take the nozzle cap off. And just taking individual panels and adding a little fading on each panel. Nothing over the top. We don't want it to end up looking like a patchwork quilt effect. A bit too much there, but hopefully. Just blend that out a little more so it's not such a blob. Oh, no tip dry yet. So the awkward thing is trying to hold this at an angle where you can see what I'm doing and where I can see what I'm doing. We have got a little tip dry. So again, just nipping the paint off the needle tip. Again, if you're clumsy or not particularly delicate of touch or concerned, use something else, cotton wool bud dampened with thinners or something to clean the needle tip off. It's one of those bad habits I'm in that I do and I probably shouldn't. It's like sticking the paintbrush in your mouth. You know you shouldn't, but it just happens. So the upper surfaces will obviously fade more than the sides or the lower. Because they see more of the sun, basically. Just this side of the fuselage and one wing left to do. Now obviously if you're doing this on your model you can and probably should take more time, be more careful, use different shades, one slightly lighter, one slightly darker, being as more delicate and using more finesse than I am right now. But I'm just trying to show the techniques here. This isn't, I'm not trying to build something that's going to win any awards or anything like that. So that's the grey done, as you can see, and it actually does show up on camera a lot more than it shows up to the eye. Where did my needle cap go? There it is. I'll just blow out the excess paint. give the airbrush a quick clean down. Although because it's so thin it's coming through fairly easily. There we go. That's another bad habit. If you've got a syringe or pipette or something full of water or airbrush cleaner, don't drag it over the top of your model because you guarantee it's going to drip on there. Another bad habit of mine. Right, so that's degunked the airbrush mainly. Was it that one we used? It was, wasn't it? So now we're going to do exactly the same thing but with the dark green. And I'll grab a couple of cotton wool buds I've been using for decaling just to get out the excess paint. Try not to contaminate things if we can get away with it. Oh, yeah, I am in shot. There we go. Near enough anyway. Close enough for government work. So we'll add just 5 drops of the green. There's the wrong green. That's US dark green, we don't want that one, do we? I thought it didn't look very well shook up. Where did I put the... That's the right one. There you see, mucking about, making mistakes. But hey, it's 5 drops of paint, the world's not going to end because of it. I can just get the worst out. There we go. Let's try that with the right colour paint, shall we? Again, 5 drops of the green. And to lighten it, because I'm not lightening it too much, I'm just going to add 1 drop of white. It's scary how quickly white does lighten this paint up. Definitely need a bit of thinner in there. Again, usually a good idea to shake up your thinners before you start using them. It may look just like a clear liquid, but there are different chemicals in there and they can separate out at different rates. So give it a quick shake just to make sure it's all mixed up. And I think I am going to add a little more green into that. And that's probably someone trying to sell me either home insurance or life insurance. That seems to be what most of the phone calls are lately. Give away as it goes to answer phone, and they don't leave a message. If it was something worth picking up, they'd leave a message. So and if it was something very important, my mobile would have probably gone off by now as well, so there you go. That's how I know it's not worth getting up and going to answer the phone. So again, we just check we're spraying well. We are. Again, needle cap off. And we do precisely the same thing. I'm just going to be cool and turn my baseball cap round because the peak is probably getting in the way. So I'm just doing exactly the same thing. Changing the tones on the various panels ever so slightly. Obviously trying to be careful not to get any overspray onto the grey. Now this paint is so thin. I don't know about you, but that noise bugs me. Ooh, bit much. And there we have it. Basic fade job. Now, as I say, your own models you'll want to take more time and more care. It's probably one of the golden rules. Build at your own pace, paint at your own pace. Do it at the speed that suits you and the way and the methods that suit you. Just because there's some nutter like me out there that builds, well, apparently like a machine. Doesn't mean you've got to try and keep up or anything. Let's say we each do this hobby for our own reasons, and I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I've met some really good friends through it. But if I had the same kit on the bench for a month or more, I would get bored of it. It's that simple. I just don't like doing the same thing for a long time. So I mean, these build series is strange for me, having the same model on the bench for quite a while. In the case of the SU-76, it was 3 months, which is the longest by any stretch I've ever had a model on the bench. So far on this, we're around about a month. See, very carefully peel off the masking tape. It was all thoroughly detacked, but what we don't want to do now is peel off any paint if we can help it. Although if I do, give me something to show how to fix it. Although, you know, I'd rather not. And yes, I am aware that the upper surface, specifically the green paint, isn't quite dry yet, but I don't think I'm holding it on any green bits. We will soon find out when I take my hand away if there's green paint on it. Oh, is that a paint lift? No, just a bit of muck. No, it's around the nose that could be interesting. Some of this was stuck down quite well. Right. We should. Looks like we're okay. Just the one bit left. And there we go, we got away with it. None of the paint lifted. So, what's next? Well, it's going to be obviously the rest of the painting. For this, it will be the prop needs to be red. There are white leading edge bits on the wings. And then the undercarriage, I believe. Oh, and the guns are actually white as well. We have a look at the picture, at the picture thingy. And then, I say, the exhaust and the landing gear. So what can we paint now? We can get the exhaust painted quite easily. And possibly make a start on the landing gear as well. Because I want to leave the paint so it is all fully dry before I try masking anything. We don't want to go lifting the paint we just spent quite a while trying to put down. What colour is that? That's khaki brown, we don't want that one. Where did rust go? Rust. Whole red, burnt umber. Oh. Armour brown, black, khaki brown. It might actually be on the bench somewhere. More than likely is, to be honest. There we go. Oxido, which I'm fairly certain is probably the Spanish for rust. Or oxide anyway. So give that a quick shake. Pop out a couple of drops on there. Yeah, brush has definitely seen better days, but it'll do. Now what I will do for the leading edges and for the spinner, which has got to be red, is once I've masked them, I'll just spray them in white. Now for the white I will use a white primer, UMPs to be precise, and there are several reasons for that. First and foremost being it's one of the easiest whites there is to spray. Some whites can be an absolute pig to spray. And secondly, the reason for painting the nose cone white is so that the red stands out, or the spinner, sorry, is so that the red pops nicely, rather than looking dull and subdued. Just make sure we've got the tops of all the exhausts. I'm not sure. I'll definitely mask it off camera. I might spray it off camera too. I'm sure you can figure out how to, or know how to just mask off a small area and then spray it a different colour. It's not exactly the world's trickiest of techniques. It's all down to using good tape and not putting the paint on too wet and too thick, and also the angles that you spray at as well. If you can try to spray away from the edge of the masking tape, then you get less chance of it bleeding under. So it's just one of those things. Now, what colour are the gear bays on this? If they're just whatever the base colour is, we're fine. If not, we're going to have to paint them. Let's look back through the instructions and see what it says. Well, that's a result. It just says undersurface colour, which is what they are. So there we go. So it's just the actual legs we've got to paint, and the wheels. Oh, pardon me. But as we're getting up to the half-hour stage, unless I can find there's my steel. Well, it just won't be a couple of minutes to get this painted. We'll carry on. Carry on regardless. It's only gear legs, they're not tricky. Well, he says. They can be, but these ones are fairly basic and simple. On a Spitfire they're not. We're not talking later model MIG undercarriage where you got all sorts of bars and levers and actuators, and it's actually quite tricky to figure out how the hell to assemble it sometimes. And yes, my hand is shaking, so I'll put the model down so I don't get silver paint everywhere. And this is just Model Air steel that I'm using here. Again, nothing awesome or spectacular or over the top, just bog standard silver paint. And I'm aware you probably can't see this. I don't really want to be looking up at the camera while I'm doing this, for obvious reasons, because I just end up putting paint somewhere silly. So I'll turn it this way up, you might actually be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. And yes, as you can see, a blob of silver paint on the tyre, but that's not a problem because they're going to be painted black fairly shortly. Well, I say black, a tar black or tyre black rather than just jet straight black. Something with a little grey in it, let's put it that way. get this other wheel painted and the tail wheel, and we'll call it a day. So thinking as I go in my head, which is strange for me, I normally think out loud. What I will do is, so I'll get the leading edges and the guns, cannons, whichever they are, masked and painted off cam, because, you know, it's not exactly difficult, tricky or anything spectacular or anything you're going to learn anything from. It's just sticking masking tape along a panel line and then spraying it. So that when we come back, that will pretty much be all the painting done, and we'll be ready to start decaling. Yeah, so if I get the, let's say, the leading edges, the spinner, the prop, all painted, then yeah, it will be weathering next time, or decaling. So I hope some of that's been at least roughly helpful or something like that. Enjoy your modelling. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.